Learning about some of the advanced question types in Google Forms. More specifically, we will be looking at the description and the response validation examples. So to begin, in your Google form, typically your first question would be, what is your name? This seems like a very basic question type that your respondents could answer to. However, you may get varied responses, such as just getting a first name only, or a last name, or even a full name. You can specify and be more specific with your questions. To do that, come on down to the snowman icon or the More Options menu and enable description. Here then is you can further be more specific with your questions. So please type your full name. So again, the description is kind of further enhancing your question. So you can do this within just your form title and any other types of question types that you have in your form. The next example that we are looking at is email address. So again, I come on down to the More Options, and here I enabled response validation. Okay, and for different kinds of questions, you will have some different options for response validation. So for this one, I want this to be a text only, obviously, but you can also set it to be for number, length, or regular expression. We'll talk about those here in just a few moments. Under text then, I have some different options here. I can have it to set as contain, doesn't contain, email address, or URL. Here I want it to be an email address. And then here then I could type in as an error message. So please enter a valid email address. So again, I'd like to set a description. Use your work email. Okay. So to see how this looks then, I can go to my live form. So I want it to be like a work email. So I just kind of type in some gibberish here. Try and get on to the next question. There is my error. Please enter a valid email address. So then I'll be prompted to correct that. So again, Google Form isn't more foolproof or anything, but however, it did identify that I didn't have the @ or the .com or the .edu in my response. So this is a nice feature that Google Forms does have. Another question type that is very beneficial is kind of receiving phone numbers, maybe from like a survey for the beginning of the school year that you would like contact information from your families and so forth. So I went ahead and enabled the description. Please enter your phone number like this format here because I don't want to receive it in several different ways in my spreadsheet. I like it nice and clean. So what I did is I came on down, I did my description, my response validation. So again, for this question type, I had a script that I did some research. So you can Google some different expressions. So let me kind of talk a little bit about this. So I wanted to match this script here. So I just Googled data validation phone number script. And I found one that had just the digits like this, and they were separated then with the hyphens. So when my respondents fill in their number, it's going to look at this format for everyone. And if they try adding parentheses or no space, it'll prompt them that that is not what I'm looking for. Okay. You are also able to go to the text and you could say it contains 10 digits. If it has anything less than 10 digits, it won't work. But for this one, I wanted it in that type of a format. Okay, so let me kind of show you what this looks like for the phone number. So I could try and type in some basic phone number like that with no spaces or hyphens. And again, I'm going to get prompted, please type your number like the format. So I'll need to go ahead and change that, adding in my hyphens here. Boom. So again, if you want a nice clean format from all of your respondents to do like that, I would highly recommend that you do some Google regular expressions, and it is very easily able to find that to meet your needs. Another question type is a writing prompt. I know a lot of the teachers in our district do use those, and you can go ahead and set a description on what you further want from your students and also for the response validation. You can go into the regular expression and find some pre-made scripts already to set limits like 9 to 15 words or something like that. You'll have to do a little bit of digging, but Google Forms does have a feature for length. Only for length though, however, it is a maximum and a minimum for character count. So you have to do some guesswork on for what that exact number that you want it to be. Remember, for character count, that includes spaces, any type of number or letter or symbols, and etc. So you have to do some guesswork on for the character count option. Okay. Data validation also works for multiple choice and also drop down as well. It is kind of limited though, however. You can also give a description for it. You can have them go to a question based off of their particular choice that they selected. And you can also set the shuffle answer choice, the shuffle order option. So my first option would be purple, but Johnny sitting next to me may have black as the first option. So if I would select that and Johnny's looking at me and he sees Yoder picking number 1 here, he selects it, well, he probably won't have purple as his choice. So this is a nice thing to have if your students are sitting close. You do have a multiple choice grid option here. Again, it's very kind of limited. So you can also shuffle the row order and also limit to 1 response per row. Let me show you how that looks here. So I have some different foods and I'm kind of rate it based on how I like it. So I love pizza, I love my chocolate, hate pickles, and I love my apples. However, I'm getting notified that I can only have 1 response per column, so I would need to change those. Okay. Finally, my last option, or my last question here, is what was the answer to question 4 on last night's homework? So again, my response validation, and I have selected a number because this would be a math assignment. And then I have some different options and choices here. I'm looking for a specific number as 3.5. Let me show you how that works. So say a student types in 12, they're going to get prompted saying, sorry, check with your partner and compare notes because I'm looking for the exact number as 3.5. Again, it doesn't have to be a number. It could also be a word or a text. It could, we'll just say that I'm looking for the word was pickle, and you can also set that word or different kinds of options for that. So in this video, I showed you the different kinds of question types within Google Forms, specifically looking at the description and response validation options.